Yo, what's good? We're back with another one.
It's showtime.
What are ley lines? A ley line is a straight fault line in the Earth's tectonic plates. This is a scientific fact. Through these cracks in the Earth's tectonic plates, the magnetic energies released are very powerful indeed. Many people have claimed to have felt the urge surge up their body, and some have claimed that they have blacked out, as the surge was that powerful. How long have human beings known about ley lines? Our ancestors have known about these ley lines for thousands of years. Every race and culture on this planet has known about these lines, yet everyone had different names for these lines. All we need to do is look at the ancient cultures of Earth. Take the native Indians of the United States. They used to call ley lines spirit lines, and their shamans used to use the electromagnetic energy in these lines to help them contact the spirits. They even designed their medicine wheel on the spirit lines, as they knew these lines followed a straight round line. How did they know about these lines and energies that they give off? The answer is simple. The sky gods told them. In Europe, we were led to believe that the Druids called them mystical lines. In Wales, they use the same name in Eastern countries. They call them dragon lines. We know that Eastern countries call them dragon lines, as the sky gods flew in dragons along these lines. The Aboriginal people of Australia call these lines dream lines, and once again they claim that this knowledge was passed on to them from the sky gods.
Didn't know they call them dragon lines in Wales.
Yeah, bro, they've got a dragon on their flag.
Around planet Earth, there is an extremely potent geomagnetic grid that can be used to harness the boundless telluric electricity from the atmosphere and from below the surface of the ground. Going back to as early as the Stone Age, the Neolithic tribes were fully aware of these locations and potency of them. This is why such massive stone circles were built. With such geomagnetic capacitors, tribes could harness the telluric electricity. But during the last 75 years, these precious sites seem to have been forgotten or become disused. They have become inverted to the spiritual use of these electrical potent landscapes.
I think it's just a coincidence that some of these places line up.
Come on, bro. How'd you explain the St. Michael's line?
What if we were to tell you that from Israel to Ireland, a line exists that marks monasteries and other places of worship dedicated to the Archangel Michael? What if we were to tell you that this represents a straight line, the path of the ancient sun? Wait till you hear this. What else to mark out landmark structures in a straight line right across Europe, the Middle East? A celestial object once took this path, and for that reason, Earthlings living in that path would erect these structures in such a way that it came directly in the path of worship. But St. Michael is the assimilated figure of the god Mirtha, and in the Zoroastrian faith, it was Mirtha whom was like the god Ahura Mazda. And Mirtha, or St. Michael as he was known as in the Christian tradition, appeared next to the torus field. He is one of the two whom flank the great figure in the sky.
That's weird, but loads of places are named after St. Michael.
It's not a coincidence, bro.
Throughout history, all the megalithic structures have been strategically built on top of these so-called lines, from the pyramids of Giza to Stonehenge, Notre Dame, Solomon's Temple, Parthenon, Oracle of Delphi, Rennes-le-Château, Ziggurat, the Vatican, DC Capitol, Mecca, Hagia Sophia, Aztec Pyramids, Bermuda Triangle, Coral Castle, Tesla's lab in Shoreham, New York, including all nuclear power plants, military bases, and stadiums. which are also used to harness energies, like giant batteries.
All of them are on ley lines.
Yeah, bro, it can't just be a coincidence.
The Da Vinci Code was based on Rennes-le-Château in France, which is also on a ley line. It is documented that Alexander the Great was guided by Aristotle to take control of the major dome centers of these intersecting ley lines from dark forces, which is why he put his top general, Ptolemy, to rule Egypt. Interestingly, Cleopatra, the last pharaoh, alongside with both her husbands, Julius Caesar and Mark Antony of Rome, were defeated by the Romans, where they eventually destroyed the biggest library in Alexandria, Egypt, before taking all the knowledge with them, sending us into the Dark Ages. During the medieval times, anyone who had any knowledge of hermetics was designated a heretic and died a horrible death. This held true for whoever knew how to read or write, a heresy, leaving only the royals and the monasteries literate.
It's sad to think how much of human history has been wiped out.
It was the Illuminati, bro.
It was on the 30th of June 1921 the famous Englishman who was a member of the Royal Photographic Society of Great Britain made a remarkable discovery. Because Alfred Watkins had become a self-taught archaeologist, he noticed that sites from the Neolithic age in the United Kingdom all fell into an exact alignment. Both man-made and natural-looking monuments could be connected by exactly straight pathways. Alfred Watkins described these routes as ley lines and opened up the electromagnetic parameters of supernatural and spiritual beliefs. Alfred Watkins wrote 3 very important books which he confirmed that geomagnetic ley lines resonate in exact alignments across the United Kingdom of Great Britain. In the book The Old Straight Track, its mounds, beacons, moats, sites and markstones, Alfred Watkins argued that geomagnetic ley lines represented trading routes of the antediluvian period and the Neolithic age, which the communities of the British Isles regularly used. The straight lines allowed the Neolithic tribes and Celtic Britons to travel from a single location to another as quickly as possible.
It's an interesting theory.
They weren't just trade routes, bro.
William Stukeley was back in the 1700s and he worked around Stonehenge and Avebury, so he discovered the whole kind of mechanics to Stonehenge and Avebury. And obviously Watkins had looked at his work and taken some of his work. Stukeley noted how many Roman roads, which, if you know about the Roman history, it's pretty dark when the Romans entered Britain, how they just destructed all these kind of energetic points. But Stukeley noted that how many Roman roads were constructed along these ancient ley lines. So all these ancient ley lines were all mapped out. In recent years, you had obviously Jean-Michel, who wrote the amazing book, The View Over Atlantis, but he was an author, an esotericist, and he made a huge amount of contributions to the whole kind of Earth mystery idea. But the ley lines are very important for our well-being, and they're very important that when we go along these lines, as I said before, we reactivate information, we find information and knowledge, and remember what's bringing up to present day is all the distortions and inversions have led from this point, because the history we've been taught is only half-truths. It's not the real full truth of what we are. And this is important that we remember it and understand that we can remember this information. By remembering, we will reactivate certain energies in our body.
It does seem like they knew something we don't.
They knew how to get free energy, bro.
The spiritual development of the Celtic Britons was entirely linked with sites like Stonehenge and Avebury Circle. Other essential sites were the Rollright Stones in Oxfordshire, Michel's Fold in southwestern Shropshire, and Castlerigg Stone Circle that is located nearby to Keswick in west central Cumbria. Each of the Irish and British Druids were fully aware of how subterranean waterways flow beneath the ley lines, and the telluric currents were always potent in Pacific expanses of the Sceptrid Isle. that was once called Albion, then Britain. Perhaps it was the case that this kind of advanced technology came from the civilization of the Atlantean continent and the Atlantean Islands and was covertly brought into the British Isles during the antediluvian period or the Upper Paleolithic, where the usage of this technology was studied.
This is starting to sound like a fairy tale.
Nah, bro, the proof's in the stones they used.
Why did our ancestors choose specific types of stones for these structures? The answer may lie in the rocks themselves. Many megaliths are rich in quartz and magnetite, materials known for their unique electromagnetic properties. These stones can generate electricity when subjected to pressure or vibrations, a phenomenon known as the piezoelectric effect. Even more intriguing is the fact that many megalithic sites feature stones that were quarried from sites many miles away, indicating that the ancient megalithic builders went to great lengths to obtain precisely the right kind of stones for their structures. Picture a megalith as a giant natural battery, constantly charging and discharging in rhythm with the Earth's energetic pulse. This image isn't far from the findings of Pierre Moreau, a 19th century electrical engineer who studied the megalithic sites at Karnak in France.
Why else would they move those stones so far, bro?
And fucked if I know.
Karnak, a case study in stone power. Moreau's work at Karnak revealed some startling insights. Despite being a skeptic who did not ascribe to the New Age spiritual philosophies popular in his day, Moreau's scientific investigations led to unexpected conclusions. He analyzed the voltage and magnetic variations of the megalithic stones at Karnak and found them to be associated with electrical induction. Moreau's findings include the following. The stones emitted energy in concentric circles like ripples in a pond. They seemed to recharge approximately every 7 minutes, suggesting a cyclical energy pattern. Different structures served different energetic purposes. Dolmens functioned like electrical coils, while stone circles behaved like electrical condensers. The stones produced a pulsing energetic field that carried both negative and positive charges. Moreau's readings of the stones were most powerful at dawn. The quartz found in these stones made them especially suitable for generating these varied currents. Interestingly, the ancient builders deliberately chose to quarry the quartz-containing stones at Karnak from a site 60 miles away. Could our ancestors have possessed a sophisticated grasp of electromagnetic phenomena that we're only now beginning to rediscover?
It's crazy we don't know why they stuck so many stones in the ground.
It could have been acupuncture, bro.
Earth acupuncture, healing the planet. Freddie Silva, in his book Portals, Energetic Doorways to Mystical Experiences Between Worlds, proposes an intriguing theory that megalithic sites function as a form of earth acupuncture. Silva suggests that ancient structures were strategically positioned to amplify and direct the Earth's magnetic field, similar to how acupuncture needles balance the body's energy. Silva believes this ancient megalithic practice served as a kind of earth acupuncture that naturally amplified the local magnetic field in order to interface with the energies of earth and sky. This theory suggests that our ancestors were not just building monuments, but creating a network of energetic hotspots across the landscape.
I'm telling you, bro, they had electricity.
But what were they doing with it?
The unique Great Circle at Stonehenge is also situated above several meandering fault lines which encircle the monument. The renowned English polymath and broadcaster called Paul Devereux points out that fault lines are intimately associated with earthlights, unknown luminescent balls of telluric electricity which for reasons unknown appear in close proximity to them. Paul Devereux is a co-founder and the managing editor of the academic publication Time and Mind, the Journal of Archaeology, Consciousness and Culture, and a research fellow with the International Consciousness Research Laboratories at Princeton University in the United States. Earthlights have been witnessed at Stonehenge on Salisbury Plain in southeastern Wiltshire, and if they closely followed the fault line route, the effect would have been spectacular, as the earthlights would encircle Stonehenge. Perhaps this is why the megalithic sites were aligned upon them, as earthlights were witnessed during these important ceremonies.
We gotta do an episode on Stonehenge, bro.
We've got to finish building Easter Island first.
Although we look at sites like Stonehenge and other stone circles as just rocks placed on the earth, these are highly advanced structures that were built to activate this earth energy. Although not discussed in the mainstream, it was the Albion giants that actually constructed Stonehenge and the Neolithic tribes. They were obsessed with subterranean electrical waterways and the harmonic surface patterning such waterways emitted. It is a well-known fact that subterranean waterways are an excellent conductor of telluric electricity. Humans were once fully aware of the subterranean waterways and intentionally built upon the geomagnetic nodes to create potent dimensional portals into the 4D holographic reality of the astral plane.
Yeah, you lost me a bit there, mate.
Trust me, bro, he's right.
Bible is the torus field. Bi means two, and bol is one of these. And there are two bols which create this three-dimensional world. The toroidal field is a multi-dimensional energy pattern. It is a universal blueprint in which all energy and matter manifests. It's a donut-shaped configuration in which all the energy is in a continuous loop. This is not an atom. This is the real atom, an electromagnetic field. Universe is one field of energy, and your brain is decoding this energy into a reality that you can interact with. Whatever your mind and emotions project into the energy is what you create in your reality. Central axis is called a hyperboloid. This is where energy comes in and then out. This is the inhale and exhale of the universe, breathing day and night, life and death. That's why your nose is a hyperboloid. Yahweh is the inhale Yah and exhale is way, Yahweh. You can hear this if you breathe with your nostrils. Physical is phi cycle. Phi is a torus field. We live in a cycle of a torus field. And you have an anatomy because you are a giant atom, and the binary code 0 and 1 comes from the torus field.
We've got to find out who this guy's plug is.
Shut up, bro, he knows what he's talking about.
Subterranean waterways that are excellent conductors of telluric electricity are found at Stonehenge, and a map was produced by the master dowser Guy Irwin Underwood. Wherever the subterranean waterways are located in the United Kingdom of Great Britain, there will be a piezoelectric current which then accumulates until the current becomes telluric electricity and forms a geomagnetic concentration. In such locations across Dorset, Wiltshire, Somerset and Gloucestershire, as with other areas in the United Kingdom, many kinds of earthlights then emerge and shimmer in the evening time or early hours of the morning. Guy Irwin Underwood made 207 visits to Stonehenge and produced 105 surveys of the earth energies, fault lines and water lines situated at this site.
Master Dowser? Is that the shit with the sticks?
Yeah, bro, it works.
Two of those rods.
Yes, okay.
With these two metal rods, using the medieval technique of dowsing, Ron tells me I should be able to detect the spiritual powers running around the stones.
I'm throwing you in at the deep end here. You've never done this before, so just walk forward, tune into this energy that's coming from the stones, and ask for your rods. Just there, and there we go.
Yeah.
Now, are you doing that, or has that done it by itself?
It's done it by itself.
There we are. Now that that's done, now just walk out slowly now, just to show that something is happening through your rods or through you.
Yeah, no, it's
through you.
This is extraordinary. I've discovered a new power that I didn't know I had. Is it a power or is it a sensitivity?
As far as I'm concerned, 80% of the population can do this.
Oh, and there's me thinking I'm special.
Now walk back out and watch them open up. As soon as you... So, the energy is there.
Yes.
There it is there.
Yeah. Because I'm a Presbyterian, I think this could be the work of the devil. I'm not sure.
That's what lots of people believe.
Yeah. So which way is the energy flowing today? It's so spooky. I don't know what to make of this.
My guy did seem quite genuine, but his TV could have been in on it.
Nah, bro. Loads of skeptics have tried it.
There are so many people buying into this. YouTube videos, forums, Facebook groups. There's news articles, Countryfile, BBC, Countryfile, Telegraph, The Guardian. There all is clearly a market for this stuff, and people are just buying into it like nothing else.
I'm a bit sceptical about ley lines, especially. Not that they're not there, but I think a lot of it is wishful thinking. This church here is 11th century, probably Saxon foundations, before Saxon foundation, an ancient tribal settlement.
Okay, so Mark did his calibration, stuck them in the ground. Now you apparently don't have to do that. Now we went around the side of the church, I believe on the west side, and straight away Mark found, I don't know, let's call it a line, or he found a spot where the dowsing rods crossed. Now he went back and forth a couple of times, did it in different ways, and every single time the rods crossed. This is cool. I mean, so both of them basically faced, when you did it, every single rod you did faced in this broadly the same angle. So we went to the other side of the church on the east side to see if you could sort of make a line, and lo and behold, once again it did cross, almost dissected the church.
Of course it worked for the guy who always does it.
The other guy did it too, bro.
I know you're a sceptical bunch, you're thinking, well, Mark's kind of probably just like tweaking it with his hand or tweaking it with his... You're thinking like there's something going on, so I'm going to have a go in a minute, and we'll see what happens. So we tried to go over exactly the same spots as where Mark had success, and I didn't have a great deal of success on the first one or two goes. Nothing happened at all. Yeah, they're both pulling that way.
You're pulling back towards the chancel, which is there, yeah? So that could be where it's flowing out.
Yeah, they want to do the right-hand side thing. They're not crossing, but they want to do that.
So right, okay, that's good.
That's his... Look, that's not me. That's doing it there.
Right, okay, that looks about right.
Because I can't push it that way. I'm trying to push it towards you.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
Told you, bro, it's legit. Tesla knew it.
Was famed inventor Nikola Tesla aware of the unique alignments of the Egyptian pyramids and their connection to ley lines? Tesla's fascination with the pyramids, renowned for their precision and alignment with celestial bodies, suggests a potential association with these unseen pathways that link ancient sites worldwide. Could Tesla's admiration for the pyramids have been influenced by their location on powerful ley lines? Although there's no substantial evidence, Tesla seemed to either know or perhaps learned of this knowledge through a contact or ancient text. Following this intriguing theory, we delve into Tesla's work in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and Wardenclyffe, New York. Both these places, noteworthy for Tesla's revolutionary experiments, sit on ley lines. In Colorado Springs, Tesla focused his efforts on deciphering and manipulating electricity, the setting for his iconic laboratory. This location is positioned directly over a significant ley line. The story at Wardenclyffe, New York is familiar. This is the site where Tesla started his bold ambition to build a wireless transmission tower, which, however, never got fulfilled. Yet, just like Colorado Springs, Wardenclyffe is located on a ley line, further reinforcing a potential connection between Tesla and these connecting geographical alignments. This brings us to question, was Tesla's choice of these sites a mere coincidence, or had he more time been able to plug into these ley line connections how he intended? The mystery remains unsolved, but the questions themselves fuel our curiosity and magnify our respect for Tesla's genius.
It's crazy the only thing that stopped him was money.
It was JP Morgan, bro. He didn't want people to have free energy.
So how was the telluric energy getting pulled into the earth? Was it using copper, how was it getting pulled down? Was there mercury vortex engines on the top of them, for example? Or give us an example.
They were using different things like gold-plated metal rods or perhaps copper rods that were specifically placed in key locations where these geomagnetic ley lines were to create specific types of frequencies and vibrations that were highly beneficial to the actual growth of the crop. We know from looking at the city of Djukagira in the Zagzari region of northern Tataria, as with the cities of Dowry and Nikaeklo in the Oenski region of southern Tataria, the same kind of electroculture farming practices were also used to create maximum yield in terms of the optimal growth of fruits and vegetables and cereal crop.
I think this is possible They used electricity, but just different from us. There's no way they had our kind of technology.
Trust me, bro, they were way more advanced than us.
Where two or more ley lines intersect are marked with obelisks, such as Washington, D.C. Monument, Vatican Courtyard, and Cleopatra's Needle in Central Park. These electromagnetic lines of the Earth are its veins, and receive its energies from the Sun that connects and affects every living thing on this planet. We are electrical, and our atoms surrounded by electrons, electricity. Greg Braden explains it best by asking us, where does our heart get its electrical capacity from? We are connected to the Earth's electromagnetic fields, and our heart is our battery. Many of our ancient spiritual figures knew of this hidden knowledge, and meditated or prayed on these lines, or megalithic centers, which elevated their electrical auras, intellect, and connection to higher self through the activation of the 7 energy centers, chakras. Could this in fact be what the golden halos depicted on all spiritual figures throughout history represented?
I've always wondered why there's obelisks all over the world.
It's the Freemasons, bro. They put them everywhere.
There's an American war hero buried underneath a busy New York City intersection right in front of the Flatiron Building. This is the obelisk dedicated to General William Worth, who fought in the Mexican-American War and conquered all the way down to Mexico City. Yep, he's buried right underneath here. There's 2 other obelisks in New York City, right by St. Paul's in downtown Manhattan, that's dedicated to Thomas Addis Emmet, an advocate for Irish independence and also a New York State Attorney General. And then there's another obelisk right behind the Metropolitan Museum of Art's Cleopatra's Needle, which was erected in 1881 and imported over from Egypt. Take out a map and there's something even more strange. You draw a straight line from the obelisk at St. Paul's all the way to Cleopatra's Needle, and right in the middle, perfectly, is this obelisk. What's up with that? Cleopatra's Needle was installed by Freemasons. Thomas Addis Emmet, a Freemason, and General Worth, a Freemason. And 1 block away is the Freemason headquarters. Is it coincidence? Who knows?
We've got a load of them in London too.
Yeah, bro, the Freemasons built them.
You can see directly down here there is an obelisk, and on beyond that is Kensington Palace, and then back here this aligns to the pump house and the gardens that we've just seen. You can see how this ley energy is operating. You obviously got an obelisk along that alignment as well, which would have been something completely different in the old world, and straight up here you've got an alignment right through, and obviously the oak was the sacred tree of the Druids, and still is a sacred tree. This land would go a lot further back, and we have to remember the Dark Ages is a very distorted timeline, which I do not think we will ever know the truth to what actually happened during this time. But an old world certainly left us, something so different to what we have today, probably so surreal, most would not be able to handle the piece.
There's a lot we don't know about the old world, bro. But we'll have to save that for next time.
Hold up, Ted, we've got to do the giveaway.
Leave a comment for a chance to win in our next episode. Let's do this, bro.
Bang bang!
Blah blah.
Pick something from our website and we'll send it straight out.
That's TerraTedesTales.com. Look how dope these guys look, bro.
Yeah, big thanks to everyone buying the merch and all our channel members.
The 100k plaques in the post, bro. We'll have it soon.
And as always, thanks for watching. Remember to like, comment and subscribe. And we'll see you in the next one.